What's up guys, my name is Lauren and welcome back to my channel and to another monthly budget recap. Let's go over September's budget and talk about what we did this month. We had budgeted for $11,352 and we brought in a little under that, $11,268. So let's see where we put that money this month. First of all, we have my Roth IRA. So we budgeted $1,050 and at the end of the month we had an extra $20. So I threw that to my Roth IRA. So we're able to meet the goal of $1,050 plus $20 extra dollars for $1,070. I've said this for years on my channel, but like every dollar matters. And so instead of just spending that $20 on whatever, I put it into my Roth IRA. I'm hoping to max out my Roth IRA by the end of the year. We'll see if we get there. I'm not too sure if that's realistic or not, but I'm really going to try. I do have until April of 2025 to max it out, but I'd like to stay in the calendar year. So in January, I can start over with a fresh goal and start working on the 2025 Roth. Also, we contributed $830 to my husband's student loan, and that was just the minimum payment. We are getting close to being under $60,000 left on that student loan, which sounds like a lot still, but it started much higher than that. It was over $100,000 to start, and so we are on our way to paying that off. All right, taking a look at our expenses, we paid our mortgage, which is $44.77. And actually, if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, then you already know this, but we are in the process of refinancing our mortgage. We are doing a no-cost refi, which means we are not paying anything for closing costs, and our balance of our mortgage is not going up, but we are taking a higher interest rate than we could get otherwise. And that's because we plan to refinance a few times in the coming years. Hopefully, knock on wood, rates keep dropping and we're able to refinance more than once to keep lowering our rates. So right now we are above 7% and we're going to get into the mid 6s and then hopefully eventually into the 5s if things go in the direction I'm hoping they go. So pretty soon this will go down by a few $100s, which isn't a whole lot, but is definitely something because like I said just a minute ago, every dollar matters. And so the money we'll be saving on interest we'll be able to put somewhere else to something useful in our budget. Life insurance we paid $150 this month, and then for internet and cell phone we paid our $115. Home security is $30 and car insurance is $113, and then Spotify is $12. We did go over on groceries. Again, I talked about this recently in a video that we've been just spending more on like hosting and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to make a separate sinking fund or separate fund or something for hosting, because if we have people over, we spend an extra $75 on food or whatever. Like we ordered pizza one time when we had family over and it was $120 for pizza for like not that many people. And we did get it delivered, and so we left a tip and there was a delivery fee, but still like it's pizza. It was crazy. So anyway, I think I do want to have a separate hosting fund, and then that way we won't be going over on groceries, but I'm gonna figure that out for the new year and see how I want to do that. Household, we also went a little bit over. We spent $224 on our budget of $200, and then we were under for gas at $170 and under for utilities at $342, and then we only spent $13 in miscellaneous expenses. For sinking funds, my husband got $200 and myself and my two daughters each got $150. I just block out those balances for privacy. For school and activities, we spent $107, so we're left with $58 in that fund. That covers things like the ballet lessons my daughter does, or like there were school pictures, and so we paid out of this fund, stuff like that. And then for my cat Miles, I did a big order of food for him, so we spent $311, and that left him with $25 in his fund. For gifts, we spent $30, and so we have $65 left in there. We spent $159 for Christmas, which seems silly in September, but I've already started buying things for Christmas. I really like to enjoy the holiday season and spread it out, especially because I do a sinking fund for Christmas. So I started buying some Christmas presents and spent $159, and then we have $238 in there still. We didn't spend anything on car maintenance, so that has $414 in there. I do need an oil change coming up, so we'll be spending some of that. And my car's getting older. I'm just nervous there's going to be a big repair, but you know, fingers crossed that it's just an oil change for now. Home maintenance, we spent $327, so we have $694 left in there. And then for home decor, we spent $36 and we have $53 left in that fund. For medical expenses, we spent $330 and we are at negative $267. I am owed a refund for $220 from my dentist because they made me pay out of pocket and then insurance reimbursed them. So they need to send me a check, so that'll be pretty much evened out. But I think this year, honestly, is the most we've ever spent on medical expenses. I think we'll end up spending, I was sharing this on Instagram as well. Like if you want to see like the behind the scenes a little bit more, definitely follow me on Instagram. It's at Lauren's Money Mindset. But yeah, I think we're going to spend over $20,000 on medical expenses this year, which is just like, if you don't live in the US, you're probably shocked by that number. And if you do live in the US, you're probably still like a little bit shocked by that number. But we have like the best health insurance we can get, like the most cost-effective health insurance we can get. And that's just what's costing us this year. All right, so nothing for vacation. And then my husband is owed a refund from his work for a flight he purchased for a work trip. And so I just put that under emergency fund, even though it's not an emergency expense. I just like put it there for now, and he is owed money from them. So that'll be reimbursed shortly, and this will be back up at $10,000. And just to clarify, this is only part of our emergency fund. We have additional funds in a high yield savings account. So our emergency fund is not only $10,000, but we keep all of these funds in our main checking account. And I like to keep $10,000 in there as like a buffer. So no matter what time of the month we get paid, we always have money for our bills in there. So we started out with $10,815 in our sinking funds. We spent $2,061 and we ended with $11,154. And I always like to see when our sinking fund balance goes up at the end of the month. And so we're accumulating funds for when bigger expenses come up in the future. So that happened this month, which was great to see. For our actual monthly spending, 9.5% went to pay yourself first and 7.4% went to debt, 61.8% went to expenses, and 21.3% went to sinking funds. All right, let's take a look at our annual financial goal progress. By the way, if you like the spreadsheet, including the budget tab, this tab, and there's another tab for like debt payoff and annual budgeting and stuff. If you want to get it for yourself, it will be linked in the video description. It's an instant download to Google Sheets, and it comes with a detailed video tutorial. All right, so let's take a look at where we're at for September. Obviously, September, we are 75% of the way through the year, so we should be 75% of the way to our goals. And so let's see how we're doing. So September, we brought in $11,268. Year to date, we're at $106,252 on a goal of $141,000. So we are on track for our income at 75% of the way there. For Pay Yourself First this month, we brought in $1,070. So year to date, we're at a total of $9,970 on a goal of $20,500. So we are only halfway to our goal. We are like quite behind on that, which is a bummer, but I mean, sometimes you're just not going to hit your goals, and that's okay. It doesn't mean we're going to stop trying and stop putting money towards our goals. It's just not going to quite get there this year, probably. All right, to debt, we just paid my husband's minimum payment on his student loan. That is the last debt on our debt-free journey. We do have a mortgage, but other than that, this is our only debt, and we are paying the minimum all year long. So we've paid $7,470. By paying the minimum, we will pay $10,000 to debt this year, which will mean we'll pay off just under $10,000 of debt because the interest on this loan is so low at 2.8%. So we are 75% of the way to that goal, so that's right on track. And finally, for expenses and sinking funds, we have put $9,368 to expenses and sinking funds for September. For the year, we're at $88,812. Our goal is to stay under $110,500, so we're 80% of the way to that goal. So we have spent more than we had aspired to at this point in the year, but it's not terrible. We're only 5% ahead of what we projected, which like planning out for the whole year is hard. Like if you haven't done it before and you're setting goals for the first time, you may be really, really off. Like we're pretty off with our investing this year, but overall we're like not too far off. And so it's hard to know like in December of 2023 what life is going to look like in October of 2024. You know, we are ahead on this, which is not a good thing, but you know, that's just where we're at this year. And I'm just having to be okay with it. The perfectionist in me is like not liking looking at the spreadsheet, but that's okay. We have to still look at it. That's the point of budgeting, is you have to look at it even if it doesn't look how you want it to look. Percent to savings and debt this month was 17%. We're trying to get this at 20% or more, so we're at 16 for the year. And to expenses and sinking funds is 83%, so 84% for the year, trying to keep this at 80% or less. So we're going to see what we can do to push the last quarter of the month, get these numbers looking a little bit better by the end of the year. Not sure exactly what we'll be able to do, but we will see. So that is it for our September budget recap. As I mentioned, if you like the spreadsheet, it'll be linked in the video description. As always, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and I'll see you guys soon in the next one. Bye!